Welcome back to the Realtor Diaries Podcast. Today's topic is about first-time homebuyers, and I am, of course, Elijah McGowan with the Jacobi team at Century 21. As always, with me is...
Kim Jacobi, also with the Jacobi team and Century 21 Select Real Estate. We're your go-to Northern California realtors. And so today, first-time homebuyers, my favorite type of client to work with.
They're great.
Favorite. I love teaching, obviously.
Yep.
I'm a teacher at heart, and I love their energy, and it's just like, it's really kind of one of the most monumental things in that person's life.
Yeah. And I have to say, it's nice with first-time homebuyers because I feel like they're the audience that's the most engaged and
the most trusting. They trust you with an incredible amount of trust. Yeah.
Like they're the people who I like when we talk about a team.
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel I can form a team around them.
Yeah.
And then we can make it through.
Yeah. I know. It's really awesome. I thought that today I would share, over my 10 years of real estate, working with various first-time homebuyers, I've seen some patterns of common misconceptions, questions, things like that. So I'm going to share with you guys today 5 of the most common misconception questions that I've had to answer.
We're all learning today.
Yeah, it's like pretty much every single first-time homebuyer I've worked with has had at least probably 2 or 3 of these questions.
Okay, I've had 2 first-time homebuyers, so I'll corroborate.
Yeah, right? So the first one is most people think they have to get a termite inspection. Like you have to, like it's required.
Really?
Most people think that it's required, and I'm not sure where that came from. I know with VA loans,
yes,
you have to get a termite/pest inspection where they're looking for wood destroying pests and dry rot, things that are going to destroy wood. But it's not required, but it is certainly recommended.
Always recommend.
Yes.
I still haven't had a case where someone like didn't want to do a pest inspection, but I mean you're right. You don't have to.
Yeah, I have people buying a brand new house.
Oh yeah, because definitely cases where it makes sense.
Yeah.
To an extent.
Still, the pest termite inspection. Believe it or not, the inspector looks for active leaks.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because water can destroy wood, and so that's what they're looking for.
Gotcha.
It's $150 in our area for this inspection.
Yeah.
It's always worth it.
Yeah. True. It's worth it if you already own your house.
Yeah. But yeah, that's usually one of the early questions is, and we have to get a termite inspection, right? And it's like, no, you don't have to. And also they're thinking it's only for termites.
Oh yeah.
But no, it looks for any bug that eats wood or destroys wood.
I wonder if it was ever the case where like they were like just looking for termites.
Yeah, like maybe in the 80s or something.
Yeah, but a lot of our documentation and language specifically says wood destroying pests and organisms.
That's right.
So yeah, it's definitely interesting.
Number 2 is the amount that they need to put as a down payment. A lot of my first time home buyers have thought that 20% was the required amount. And so I'll meet somebody at an open house or just talking to them at the grocery store or something, and they're like, well, I'm saving up for my down payment. We'll get to chit-chatting, and then they'll be like, it's 20%, and then I'll say, well, actually, 20% is a great amount to put down because you avoid private mortgage insurance if you're getting a conventional loan. But what if you qualify for an FHA loan? You only have to put 3.5% down.
Yeah.
And your interest rate is going to be better.
Which maybe, like I was exposed to real estate like as soon as I became an adult, pretty much.
Yeah.
And so like 3.5% has always just been the number in my brain.
Yeah.
And I guess 20% is the number that most people have. Maybe because of conventional loans?
It could be. For sure, if you're going to buy a commercial property or a rental, like you want to buy a house and you're not going to live in it, you're going to rent it out, then you're going to have to put down 15 to 20 to 25% depending on the property and the zoning. So I don't know. Those ideas float around out there, and That's a misconception.
Yep. we're in the field. We know 3.5%.
So far, did your first time home buyers have these same two, the termite inspection being required and the down payment?
I think one client, they were someone you helped me get in touch with, but they were in kind of like a hairy situation. Like they needed to get into a house quick. You remember them?
Yep, I do remember them.
And the first time home buyer I've worked with was, our partner lender really loved it because they were like, she's been saving up for a long time and has the really big down payment. And I was like, oh, okay, fair, absolutely.
Nice. I wonder if she thought she had to have 20% down.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it ended up being the case where she had this lump sum of cash and she didn't want to spend it all on the down payment. Like she'd been saving it.
Yeah.
And she was in her mind, it was going to be the down payment for her house.
Mm-hmm.
And then she went to buy the house and she's like, well, what if I want to do these upgrades? What if I want some cash in the bank just in case?
Yes.
And so she ended up using, I think, less than half of what she had saved for her down payment, for her actual down payment.
Yeah. Well, in her case, I guess that helped her, that she saved more than she needed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. A third common thing that I've run across is the closing costs. What are the closing costs? Yeah. Like, what are closing costs? How much are they? And so what I like to do is sit down with them using one of our many tools that we have from specifically a computer program from one of our title companies that's local. And it breaks down the closing costs for the escrow and the loan. And
yes, it's a really good tool. We'll have to have one of their people on one day.
I know, right? Just have a closing costs podcast.
Oh my, we could talk about it.
Yeah, for an hour.
Yeah.
So that's definitely, did you have any sticky situation with your closing costs? Or?
No, Kim has trained me well, but it was part of the conversation so early that it didn't really become an issue.
Yeah.
It's like everyone knew what they were getting into.
Yeah.
And I know sometimes, especially with first time home buyers, it's like, I saved my down payment and that's all I need.
Right? They don't realize it's going to cost you thousands of dollars more in addition to your down payment.
In just costs, because your down payment is like your input to equity. It's like, this is how much of the house you own. Yeah. But here are the costs to actually buying. That's the main struggle I've come across.
Yeah. Yes. Another one that I hear from my first time home buyers, especially during the home search portion of our time together, what is like, I don't want to bother you. Like, I'm kind of interested in this property, but I don't want to bother you. And it's just like, you're not my job. My job is to work with you. And at the beginning stages of that realtor-client relationship where it's like, the client's usually not totally ready yet. In their mind, they haven't really started. But as a realtor, you recognize the signs. It's like, no, now's the time to start the home search process so we can get to know each other, get to know what you are really wanting. Oftentimes when you go to look at houses, they start changing what they think they wanted.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, right?
I mean, even then, like, you run into all different situations, and that can be with any buyer.
Yeah, that's true.
But, I mean, it's always the recommendation that it's like, just start early. Yeah. You're not bothering us.
Right.
Like, we love showing you houses.
Yeah.
It's definitely the case where I'd rather go show you like 5 houses and really nail what you want for the dream house you can afford than like you wait and then need to be in a house quickly. Yeah. That's kind of the worst case scenario, is needing a house.
Well, and really it does take some time, right? To get to know the different things, because if you're a first-time home buyer, you really are thinking about things that you've never thought before, like never considered before. Like, so this heating and air unit is 25 years old, and how much does it cost to put a new one in?
It's like it's as old as me.
Yeah.
And how long is it supposed to last?
Yeah. Or like, rats live in every attic in Chico. Oh, really? Oh, so I'm going to need regular pest control? Yep. And how much does that cost? And what else? The questions. I was just thinking about it. It slipped my mind. I'm sorry. But
all good.
yeah, just all those
You
things
you don't know what you
that
don't know.
have to do with home maintenance. They're unknown with, and that's, I think, one of the biggest, scariest things about being a first-time home buyer is they don't really know how much it's going to cost to maintain their home.
Yep.
On a day-to-day basis.
Absolutely. And it can be tough because you'll find the house they like, and then you start doing inspections.
Yes.
And they learn the home buying, the escrow process.
Yeah.
Is you learn way more about your house than you thought there was to learn.
Yes. Hopefully you're getting
hopefully
inspections.
you do. If you get inspections, you learn about ownership and title and all the fancy language that goes along with it and the legal jargon that goes along with it. You just learn so much in that process, and what parts of it cost money, what parts of it can you defer out to push down the line, and do you want to push it down the line?
Yes.
There's a lot of choices a homeowner gets to make. I would say
for sure. It depends on, I guess, how conservative you are and what your comfort level is.
Yeah, that's the main point.
And the last common misconception question that I get is, especially when I've been working with a first-time home buyer for a while, and maybe they have written an offer or two and not gotten chosen. Yeah. Because they just weren't coming in strong enough,
It can be tough.
And so they will start to ask me, what should they offer? What price? What should I offer? If they really want the house and they know there's potential competition of other offers coming in, which is common in that price point, first time home buyer price point.
Absolutely.
They're going to look at me and go, what do we need to do to get this house? Here's my max. And so what other not only what price should we offer, but are there any other terms that we could sweeten the deal?
Yep.
And so that, of course, is case by case.
Yes.
Right? But I would say, in general, if you're making an offer on a house that is just brand new on the market, less, in our area, I would say 2 weeks or less on the market, you're going to want to offer at least the list price.
If you really want the house, you're like, this is the one, I'll offer the asking price. Right. Probably.
That's right. And then if it's been sitting for a month or 2 or 3, then as long as there are no other offers coming in, then maybe we can offer it a little bit less.
Absolutely.
But ultimately it's going to be up to the seller as to whether or not they want to accept it.
Yep. The thing to remember with making offers, at least with me, is we, as a team, decide our strategy. And of course, I'm on the negotiation expert side, and you're coming in almost they are the pricing expert.
Yeah.
It's they have the final decision of what we're offering.
That's right.
And on the other side, they have the same relationship. They have the agent who's going to negotiate with us, and they have the seller who's going to decide the final price.
Yes.
And you just have to remember, there's people on both sides, and they have a listing price for a reason.
Right.
And maybe it was wrong. Maybe they're sitting there for a long time because they're not priced correctly.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's really early and you really want it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, really the definition of what a home is worth is what is a ready, willing, and able buyer going to pay for that house. Yeah. And some people will pay thousands and thousands of dollars over for that house. And some people will not. And, they'll pay less. And so what the house is worth is what somebody is willing to pay for it.
Exactly.
And that seems like a really roundabout kind of non-answer, but that's how the real estate market works.
It really does.
It's based on supply and demand, and then as long as you're in the ballpark of what houses around it that are similar are selling for, then it will appraise.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And now it's time for the news. Today's topic is, of course, about first-time home buyers. We've heard a lot about them, but I think today we have some stats. I think you have the most. We talked a little bit about the news before we came on today, and I think you have a lot more recent. Yeah. And I have more the one I found. It seems fairly credible. It used a lot of stats from the association, the National Association. but it only went up to 2023.
Right, and I think I have more immediate 2024 stats. So
Okay.
This will be good. We're going to go back and forth here.
Oh yeah. Okay. And so I thought the most interesting one was that the age of first-time homebuyers has been going up.
Right.
So I have in 1981 it was 29.
Was the average
age of the first-time homebuyer.
29.
And it actually, the lowest was in 1991, which was 28,
Crazy.
which not a huge change. But in 2023, it was 35.
Wow.
So it's been like slowly on an uptick over the years.
Yeah, and then in 2024, it was 38.
That seems like a huge jump compared to...
38 years old.
I mean, what? So over 30 years...
I mean, that's almost 40.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's getting close.
Right? Like...
So looking at what I have, 1991 to 2023, it went up 7 years. So 30 years, the average age went up 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then just a 3-year jump
Mm-hmm.
in one go. That's kind of crazy.
Well, and of course, we all know why. It's because affordability, especially in California, and
Yes.
some other states, is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, you have to have...
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you have to have like a job that you've been at for a while and
2
gotten
years.
promotions, so that you can make enough money to save up for your down payment and closing costs.
On money, I don't know if you have a statistic like this, but I have that in 2023, the average income of the first-time homebuyer was $95,900 a year.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I have for average income.
Yeah, I saw that stat too.
Which is like crazy.
I
Because
know.
I think our median right now is around 50,000. I wouldn't quote myself on that, but that's crazy.
Well, it just blows my mind because, so I went to college
Yep.
in the early 2000s and got a teaching job.
Yeah.
I made $25,000 that year.
Yep.
Well, the 5 years that I taught there.
All 25 years, you had about the same
All
salary.
5 years.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't make more than $30,000.
Yeah.
And I had to go to college for 5 years for that job. And so it's just like,
Wow, yeah.
even as a college educated person, I probably wouldn't have been able to afford to buy a house.
Especially not today.
No.
That would have been impossible.
I don't know what the starting rate is for a part-time teacher today, but I was a part-time teacher.
Okay, gotcha.
So there was that. But yeah, no, so my stat is it's up $2,000 a year. So in 2024, we're now the average household income, median. The median household income for first-time homebuyers was $97,000.
Okay, that is interesting because it sounds like the median and the average, they're not always really similar, but in this case it seems like they're pretty close for first-time homebuyers.
All it takes is one billionaire to throw off that average. So.
Yeah, to buy their first home
Right.
as a billionaire, exactly.
That's why we're doing median.
Yes. What do I have? Oh, what you just said made me think of something. Oh, half of first-time homebuyers are married or are a married couple buying a home. And so that probably really helps contribute to that. I mean, I don't want to say inflated number, but I mean, I guess on average, like flip a coin, you either have one person who's making near 6 figures or 2 people making near 6 figures when you're dealing with a first-time homebuyer.
Yeah, although I did find a stat that I found interesting, and that was the share of first-time homebuyers that were single female increased to 20% last year.
Oh, really?
So a fifth of first-time homebuyers were single females. And the share of first-time buyers who were single males, where did that stat go?
It's around 30?
Oh, no.
No.
Hold on a minute.
Okay.
Single females.
So that was my guess.
Where did it go? Rising number of Gen Zers are opting for first-time home purchases. The share of single females slightly increased to 20%, and the share of single males rose to 8%.
Really? Wow, okay.
So men, if you're single, I guess nationally, we're not really buying houses.
Yeah.
We're renting or living at home.
Which usually you don't, like, in these kinds of statistics, like, usually it's an imbalance in the other direction.
Right, I know.
I mean,
That's pretty impressive.
yeah, that's really impressive.
Go ladies. Okay, what other stats do you have?
Hell, I think to close this out, I have a little tip. And so it was found, of course, most people get a mortgage buying their first home, but it was found that there's like, they categorize credit into like fair, good, great credit.
Got it.
And the jump from like the 600s, like if you have a 699 credit score, you will be spending over a 30-year mortgage $30,000 extra than someone with a 760 or higher credit score.
Wow. Okay.
And so like raising your credit just by that 60 points isn't guaranteed, but is likely to save you $1,000 a year.
Well, that's impressive.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely on the year to year, it's like, okay, $1,000. That's, I mean, for my family, it's like 2 weeks of food.
Yeah.
It's not a ton, but it definitely does add up over time because obviously the $30,000 over 30 years.
Yeah.
It can be nice.
And then for my stats to close out, basically just kind of talking about first-time home buyers and financing for 2024. 3/4 of all buyers financed their home.
All buyers. Okay.
Right, all buyers. And then 91% of first-time buyers.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. These stats aren't really shocking there, but
Absolutely.
It's interesting. 26% of all home buyers paid cash for their home.
Yeah.
An all-time high for cash buyers last year. Isn't that insane? So the median down payment among all buyers is 18%.
Okay, wow. I thought it would be a little less.
I did too. And the median down payment for first-time home buyers was 9%. Now, just keep in mind, in order to not pay private mortgage insurance, which is usually, depending on the price of the home, you know, a couple $100 a month.
Absolutely.
At least in our marketplace, you got to put 20% down in order to get that private mortgage insurance off.
So most first-time home buyers
For
are
conventional
paying
loans.
for private mortgage insurance.
Right. Now, FHA, you can't get rid of private mortgage insurance.
Nope, you'd have to refinance out of it.
Yeah. Well, that's what we have for you today for the news. Thank you for watching our podcast and listening, and we will catch you on the flip side.
Heck yeah.